Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 10th, 2024 at approximately 4:29 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Are the same tools I personally use in my day and have worked for little success to determine what kind of success they were having, their level of effort. Now, today, of course, is open topic. Doesn't matter what the question, what field it's in, doesn't make any difference at all. I will do my best to answer it. Okay, and if I don't, I will tell you where I feel is a good place to reach. Now, with this in mind, we have, before we get into anything here, we have Shadow and Sun in the house with the gold. Hopefully that didn't backfire, but with that in mind, we can go down here, pop that open, and where is Shadow and Sun here? Shadow and Sun, here you go. This is the live stream link for his stream. So if you drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do come out and give him a thumb. Subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Then we have that worked well. Then we have LA Moon in with the silver. LA, we are putting things together to make that trip. It's looking more and more like I'll be looking at July if everything goes well. Might be August, it really depends. That being said, we have coming in with the bronze, we have Joe Stewart. How you doing, Joe? Hopefully your day has been going well. I know things have been getting a little more hectic around there lately. Storm and Shadow, welcome aboard. You are in with honorable mention. And if I know you got your eyeballs up to work in a real hurry there. Now, what do we got here? Nathan, and again, we find this little link here. And this is Nathan's live stream. So, this is Nathan's live stream. Drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up and then subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Okay, now, that's Nathan. LA. Cowie, how you doing? And Steve Knox, glad to see you aboard. Nothing like things getting to be a little hectic here. Now, where are we? We are 3 minutes in. Yep. And we are sitting at 5 people in the room. This is great. Yeah, Joe's just going, this spring forward today went by fast. Oh, yeah. Woke up this morning and the way it went. Well, you can't complain too much, assuming they're decent people. The thing is, with this being open topic, I did not plan anything. We got finished our game today a little later than normal. But it's funny because, here I am. I'm telling you, I'm building an empire. I'm building a publishing company. And I'm going to be building a number of other things. The game today, we ended up picking up a couple of pieces of property. And we're now building a small empire in the game. Kind of like I've told you, everything links together. Yeah, Ellie, you're absolutely right. And the funny thing, Ellie is going, just remember, all advertising is advertising. And that means whether it's good advertising or bad advertising. Okay, the more visible you are, the more connection you're going to make. In my case, I've been really fighting a lot of issues, because one of the biggest things for me, twist is this is likely going to sound. stepping into the spotlight was never one of my real big plans, at least not from a cognitive standpoint. Now what I'm looking at is where do we go from here? Well, of course, what do I got? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I gotta get these marked where they are. Like I said, I didn't actually plan much of anything because I just don't for Sunday. Okay, that is 7. This should be 4. No, that's 2. Oh. Then that should be 4. That is. Okay. Those are those boxes. Six is already occupied, which leaves me 1. Okay, now where are we here? Had to get those out of the way because they were a pain in the neck. Eyeballs. Okay. Now the neat part about it, I'm looking at this whole war zone I got here because I have way too many things on the go. But it is time at this point to make things happen. Oh, nice there, LA. Yeah, I did. We ended up doing elk stir fry. Whoop. Did elk stir fry today. And boy, because we did the elk in the slow cooker to start with. And boy, did it come out tender. And that's from somebody that doesn't know how to cook. Yeah, or more to the point, I didn't do it, slow cooker, I don't know. I did in a crock pot. At least I think that's what it was. I don't know, great big bin. Let's face it, cooking is not exactly my strongest suit. Now, where are we? Oh, that's my list of things to get done today. Now, what I'm looking at here is I got a bunch of things I gotta get done tonight. So, let's see what we're looking at. This is Sunday, so I don't have to worry about that yet. That's Friday, Saturday. Oh, we already did that. Last Saturday, the Saturday just went by was dealt with. Okay, those all sit there. And what do we got here? The nice part about it, this little list here, that's my next 3 months already laid out. Oh, there we go. LA's going slow cooker, crock pot, same thing, same animal. The neat part about it is I am getting a little bit more focused on the whole cooking side of things. But in the meantime, got the office all sorted. That's great. So when I get done this tonight, first thing I've got to do, of course, we had to actually reinstall Skyrim on the PS5 in order to be able to play it at all, because half of it seized. But got it reinstalled, so we were able to start again. Now I've got okay. I didn't get a lot done today because, well, let's face it, woke up a little later than I was planning on. And as soon as that happened, then I had the games. Of course, that wrote the rest of the day off. So I haven't got to or did any of the stuff I usually do. So, remember what I mentioned, if you're going to change the way your life is, you got to get a list. It's advisable to get a list together so you can make it happen. Now today is the 10th, so we go 03102024. Okay, so that's where that fits. The neat part about it is the last place I was aiming at stepping was into a spotlight, but it came to my attention that if I'm going to tell you that this is the way that'll work to get your life in order, does it not make sense to do the same thing to get mine in order? Does it not make sense to get the temperature back to a decent level? There we go. Okay, that should bring my temperature down. Pop that up, and now we're good to go. So the first thing I'm looking at, is this. What am I doing? There it is. So I'm going to put an hour in. This is just my way of winding down. Because Sunday, I do my best not to get carried away with things. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to go and kill an hour off on Skyrim. Okay. Then I've got Nature 3, the Bible, and Demons, which is the 3 books I'm reading. By the way, Demons, and I got to talk to little brother about it, is this one, The First Sign of Evil. This one was actually written by my little brother. I haven't got production rights on this at all yet. So I got to talk to him about that because, like I said, I am building a publishing company, and I just need to make sure everything gets put in place properly. Okay, that's just the way that's going to go. But I got to be careful because I've seen too many people do this where they'll say one thing and then all of a sudden somebody tries to breach the contract. I'm not interested in it. Will I make money off of other people's work? Absolutely, but at least I'm up front and I'll tell you about it. Thing is, I intend on making certain that the people who publish through me are actually the ones that are making decent coin. It's that simple because the only thing I got to do is get a little bit of visibility for it. What do we got here? Me, how you doing? Glad you could join us. So I've got those 3 books that I've got to read part of. And I am making headway. But at the same time, what do we got? Callie, I've already got the publishing company up and running. Okay, I designed it back in 2007, but that's a good question. Back in 2007, when I opened the Inner Voice Enterprises at approximately 5 to 12 on August 11th, 2007, I set it up as psychic work, paraphernalia, and publishing. Okay, so I'm already in place for it. There's no problem there. Okay, am I looking at the side of it of possibly having people invest eventually? Certainly, but not until I get things laid out so that I know what they're getting back and I know what I'm producing. It's that simple. Okay, I'm just not stupid enough to turn around and say, I'm going to do it right now. Okay, I will tell you, I do pay for referrals. Absolutely, I do. And on the plus side, I get to send out my first referral checks in April because I'll be sending them out, 4 times a year, quarterly. Okay. In April, in what will it be? I worked this out the other day. April, May, June, July. March, April, May, June, July. Okay. So it will be sent out in April, in July, in October. Whoa. April, May, July, August, October. There we go. Okay. They will be sent out in April, July, October, and January. But here's the kicker. If the referral check is not going to be over $10, I won't be sending it. It'll wait until the next cutoff. Hey Joe, nice. Very nicely done. Yeah, I look at the number of friend requests that come in. I always check the number of friend requests. The reason for that myself there, Joe, is when I get friend requests, so many times somebody will send me a link to their Facebook page, and what it shows is people that are only half dressed, or there's no entry to them at all for ever, and they're looking to build some sort of connection. So ones like that, I just don't even bother, applying. I don't bother picking them up. The reason for that is there's way too many potential complications. But what I'm doing at this point, I have figured out how to link, positive perceptions and positive perspectives. So one of the other things I got to do when I get those books read today, I have to go and we will deal with tomorrow's stream plus email, IVE, email, personal. So I got a whole pile of things that are right off the bat. Y12 portal. See, now that's how long it took. And just right there, just get the starting list for tonight. Not tomorrow. This is for tonight. So just like that, I've got another 12 things on my list. Because the reality is, as the saying goes, people do not plan to fail. They fail to plan. And if you don't know where to begin, that's the easy part. You begin right here, right now. Whatever you're looking at this moment, that's where you start to get things turned around. Now, no, I did not get out to go and take a look at the different bookshelves. That's one of those things I've got to do this week. But I am aiming at getting things organized to make sure it happens in the right way. Now, I will tell you this. I do this right, and I will take as many of you guys to the top with me as I can get away with. And for that many as many other people. It just depends on what kind of connection I make. Because I will tell you, I've been looking at this a lot lately, and the path that mankind is going down is absolutely going sideways. Okay, it's just not working the way that I personally would like to see it. Working on it really hard there, Nathan. I am starting to move I'm moving pictures around. I've ended up having to add a little more to it, but it is, as a matter of fact, it's on my list for tonight to get things done. Because now it's just a case of getting it popped out and moved. Oh, question, Nathan. Did Birth of the Wolf Pack show up? It's just a curiosity thing. Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And this is the link to Chad's live stream. And where are we? Chad. There we are. So drop in, give him a listen. Give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Nathan, where are we here? Oh, perfect. I am so glad that it showed up. I'll tell you, I was starting to worry. Unfortunately, there are so many people that happens to. I was just hoping to avoid being one of them. Yeah. Nathan? No. If you're at work, you're supposed to focus on work. That's just the way it works, on that one. The reality of it is, if you're not paying attention to work, my personal opinion is, if the person isn't doing their job, cut them loose. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Nathan's just bringing us up to speed. The book showed up. And the book we're talking about, guys, is this one here. Birth of the Wolf Pack. Okay. This little book, that's a life's work. That got ran the original story. If you do end up picking this up, and you go to the first appendix, you'll find the story. That is the original story that was written when I was 15. And this is literally that story coming to life. Okay, I mean, do understand, it is post-apocalyptic. So yes, in real life, I'm very much a pacifist. I do not like confrontation. I do not like war. I don't like conflict. There's a lot of it. A lot of things I don't like. This, on the other hand, volatile little book. Okay, the gentleman in here, this lead, this guy here, okay, that is your lead protagonist. And if there's one thing that he isn't, he is not afraid to get into a fight. Myself, I don't know if I'm afraid of it or I just don't like it, but I'm not interested in getting into one. Okay, but we are closing in on the end of the third book, so this works out very nicely, in my eyes, anyway. The other thing that I'm looking at is this. I've got all these things going on, and again, for me, it boils down to this. The reason I decided on the publishing company is to get other people's work out in print. Okay, in a sense, it's a form of immortality. Okay, and with that in mind, well, there we go. Just had to check that because that was going to throw me for a loop. The reality of it is this. So many people have a single poem or a single short story they would like to get into print. To that end, I am currently putting a poetic anthology together and a coloring book together, the first of a couple of coloring books, okay, to get out into print while I'm doing the other things. Bear in mind, the coloring book, I'm pulling pictures. I've got pictures already lined up. They're already moved into Races of the World second printing. So I am pushing forward with that one in a hurry. It's been way too long. Well, both of the big projects have been way too long. I will tell you this. The coloring book that I'm putting together does not contain all of the races. But every one of the races that's going into the coloring book is in either Volume 1 or Volume 2 of Races of the World. Okay. Now, that said, I'm bringing them to life in that fashion as best I can. You know, so but I want to look at no, not want. I desire to look at the issue of this publishing side of things because I've got a lot of stuff ready to go. Okay. And the poems that I'm starting to put together, most of them, depending on you guys, okay, most of those will be ones I've written. But all it's going to take on your end, if you've got a poem that you desire to get printed, okay, all I require is the poem itself, a letter stating you wrote the poem, and that I'm free and that I've got the go ahead to reproduce it in whole or in part as is. Okay, and bring with that $20 if you go to the top of the. Come to think of that, Storm, if you're still in the room, we're going to have to go in. We're going to have to go in to buy me a coffee and install a $20 purchase of the poetic anthology. But like I said, we're going to have to make sure that the poem is sent and the letter stating that it's their work and I've got the right to reproduce it. Okay. Plus, of course, the $20. Now, with that in mind, I'll talk to you about that after the stream. Okay, don't know if it'll be tonight, but in the very near future to make it that much easier. Now, I don't know what I'm doing as far as short stories go because I gotta take a look at how many I can put into a book. Okay, where it comes to short stories. Well, that was something, Nathan. It's already up and running. If you pop up into the site, you'll see we've already got a full store up there. And the neat part about it is the way they set it up. Okay, which is why I'm working with it right now. Took a little bit of work on Storm's part, but quite honestly, I'm not gonna. I'm certainly very grateful for that because it's opened a lot of doors. Now, the neat little part, I'm looking at this to bring as many people to the surface, to the top with me. They tell me it's lonely out there. I'm not interested in being lonely when I get up there. Heck, I'm not being interested in being lonely now. This should be, yep, that's all that. Yeah. But one of the other things I'm working on is expanding what positive perspectives carries. Okay. Because again, there are so many things I've seen happen where people are taking a look and they're listening to so many people say, our world is going to die. We're all going to suffer, etc. Not interested in the suffering thing. Done it long enough. Okay. Yeah, I get, that's the nice part about it, Nathan. And this is one of the reasons why I've got you in that point. Okay. One of the key factors from my end is very simple. I'm not perfect. But if I make a mistake, I'm quite willing to step up and say, I messed up. This is the way it is. I'm not really interested in the conflicts that come with it. But it's one of those things that you pay for what you use. Okay, which works out really well. And again, the free newsletter, Positive Perspectives, there is a link up there in Buy Me a Coffee. And it literally is a free thing. I think, I do believe there, LA, that's actually not a bad idea. And I suspect we should really I should really sit down with you, especially Nathan. Not tonight, for some reason you're working, might be a bit of a problem. But we got so many things we can do, that can link everything together. And it'd be great to start making this happen so that everybody involved can start getting ahead. Because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of the day-to-day fight. It's just a royal pain in the neck. I have no idea what Linktree is. But again, we're only just starting to get rolling. We are, Inner Voice Enterprises is a tiny company right now, but we are going to make a run at the big run. Okay. I mean, I know it's going to take a little while, but I look at it this way. Colonel Sanders, in my understanding, opened his first chicken stand when he hit 65. I'm about to hit 61. Okay. And I intend on opening doors that have not been opened in decades. Okay. In some cases, I intend on opening doors that haven't been opened in centuries. It's just one of these things. Nobody has to be making, $100 from every individual. Okay. Oh, Joe's going, March 25th is the next full moon. Wild. Now, when the hell is that? Don't tell me March 25th is right after March 24th. Part I figured out. So, get that book out of the way. March 25th is the last Monday of the month. See, I've got a blank desktop calendar, so I don't necessarily know. Well, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Oh, well, I get so little sleep anyway, I didn't even notice. From my standpoint, it really boils down to I only get 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night anyway. Last night was weird because I went to bed and I ended up sleeping. Well, I woke up at 4, I said 5 o'clock. When did I wake up? I hope I wrote it down. What is today? Oh, I forgot to do that. Well, I'm going to have to deal with that. The way I figured it is this. I don't sleep a whole lot anyway, and now I have to realize that that's not changing anytime soon. I did not expect to have this neat little problem of killing off my sleep as bad as I did, or as well as I did, I don't know. But I figured out years ago, I was listening to people go, oh, we get, you need 8 hours of sleep. And my first thought when I really looked at it was, if you're sleeping 8 hours of the day, you're sleeping a full third of your life away. Okay. If you're sleeping a full third of your life away, what is going on? So I figured, I posited this. If you cut your sleep to 4 hours and you don't lose health or your quality of life, then how much do you gain? Turns out you gain, and don't take my word for it. Okay. Do your own research. Okay. But I found out if you cut your sleep to 4 hours, you gain over the course of a year a full month and a half living time. This is why I get so many things written at the same time. Written, read, whatever. Okay. Now, with that in mind, I'm looking at this going, where do I go from here? Okay. It really is an issue of making your life what you desire it to be. Yeah. Joe goes, that just means for me the paranormal activity might act up. You do realize, Joe, now you're calling it paranormal right now. In my experience, when the paranormal happens that frequently, that is the paranormal at that point now becomes the normal. Okay. What is that? Didn't work. See, this is what I ended up putting on my filing cabinet because my filing cabinet, for obvious reasons, happens to be metal. Yeah, Nathan goes. So normal for me now. I can't get scared from watching haunted movies. From watching haunted. Yeah, yeah, haunted this or that video. Yeah, that's the same problem. Although I'm lucky there, Chad. I've got a clock up front that's right twice a year. Okay, because I don't change it. Of course, it's got no batteries in it either. So, but see, on my filing cabinet over here, I got these little magnets I found. This one says the sky's the limit. I'm telling you, the sky is not the limit. The sky is the starting point. Okay. And then this one here goes, Great Spirit, lead us in the ways of peace. You know, Great Spirit is doing a wonderful job, and humans are just plain ignoring it, it would seem. I haven't quite figured why. But I do figure I got to deal with that at some point. Let's get my eyes so I can see what I'm up to. Well, yeah, but no doubt there, Chad. The thing is, I've been seriously considering getting rid of the clock. I mean, it works fine, don't get me wrong, but I'm in the process of removing stuff I don't require anymore. Thing is, this particular clock holds two of my grandfather's ornaments on it. And if I move the clock out of the way, I don't have a place to put them. Which is an interesting setup on that point. But yeah, I was thinking batteries and figured, if I put batteries in, I've got to pull the clock out and I got to clean out behind it and what have you. A lot of hassle for a clock I ignore. But the shelves are handy. Now, let me ask you this. Are you content with where your life is sitting right now? I know I, for one, am not. And this is why I'm doing the things I'm doing and getting rid of the things I have to. Let me see. This neat little book. Yep. This is one of those other little books I'm working on. This one, as you can see, is not done up with a proper cover on it. But it's one of those things that I'm working on. And again, guys, if you've got a topic, well, yeah, it is. And, the nice part there, Chad, is because it's a 12-hour clock, it is right twice a day. Just the problem is it is still off kilter in a lot of ways. But the question for you guys, because I've got a lot of information in my head, I'm doing my best to get out. Problem is, there's so much of it that still has to get out. Let me ask you this: what fields are you interested in seeking information on? Yeah, check it. I don't even know if I'm correct twice a day. See, I keep telling people I was wrong once. I thought I was wrong and I wasn't. But that sounds very egocentric. The reality is, I know I'm wrong a lot of the time. This is why I tell you, do not just take my word for it. For that matter, don't just take anybody's word for things. Do your own research. You got to be aware of where your limits are. Okay, it might be an idea to be aware of what your goals are. But whatever you do, do not let anybody tell you that you cannot attain your goals. I've seen people attain goals after decades of sitting on the tail feathers. You're looking at one. Okay. I way back in 1986, I applied for BC Medical, for BC for disability. Finally, 37 years later, I got it. Okay. Now, the neat part about it is, as far as today goes, I'm looking at positive perspectives going, okay, what do we have to add to it to make it a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more informative, but not turn it into a directory? Okay. Now, because and something just dawned on me. Because it's a free electronic newsletter, I can put hot links in it, which is one of those neat things I can work with. Now, what is this? Pen. But with that in mind, what do we got? Now I do have an odd question for you, Joe. When you bring up the issue of it sounding like a bunch of Indians, are you certain that it's not a bunch of Indians? And I mean ones that have passed on and are still running the great hunting grounds. Because of the paranormal activity you've got around your place, I'm thinking it's a good bet that you may be bearing witness to an echo. Okay, which is a real neat trick and quite exciting when you think about it. Am I missing something here? I hope not. Okay, we drop that out of the cycle. Okay. Now, one of the neat things here, because when you're looking at changing your life, you start by looking at what you're not content with. If you spot something you're happy with, then absolutely stick with it. Okay, the ones you gotta worry about are the ones you're not content with. Okay, and this is why I've got to take a look at that. And did I put that in there? I don't think so. Get my finances all worked out afterwards. There we go. It's not like I don't have enough to do. Okay, and my list can get extremely long. But where it comes to potential information or books that you're looking for insight in, okay, if you've got a topic you'd like to look at, absolutely drop me a line. Okay. Either that or, quite frankly, mention it in the chat room. I do my best to keep up on it. But that's up to you guys. Because if we leave there, if we keep waiting for the elites, for the corporate moguls, for the government, for the clergy, if we keep waiting for them to straighten things out, I'm telling you, we're up a creek. Because in case you hadn't noticed, given that 100 years ago, the way the government dealt with immigrants, the way that people dealt with people, was identical to what it's doing now, with the exception that now we've got the computer that anybody can scramble, okay, and still not make any headway. We gotta start looking out for each other. Okay, at least I'd recommend it. But there's so much potential on this planet, we just have to start tapping into it. And shut that off. I don't know about you, but which way do you feel it works better? If you're trying to move a great big block of stuff, and we'll just call it junk that you're trying to get rid of, is it easier to do it on your own? I'm just looking at stuff over here that I gotta get rid of. These, fortunately, are already boxed and ready to go. So they got popped up there. That way I've got the stuff off my bed. So when I get done today, I can make things happen. The neat part about it, when we take a look at this world, okay, it boils down to this. If we leave it the way it is, okay, it's going to do the same thing it did the last time. Now, who here wants to see another civilization collapse in your lifetime? Okay, because I'll tell you, the speed things are buckling, the amount of time that people are spending focusing on what's wrong, the quicker it's going to happen. Okay, and I don't know about you, but I'm thinking I've gone through that enough. I'd like to try the other side of the scale. Not with I'm not talking about the wealthy getting poorer. I'm talking about everybody working together, sharing their talents, and capitalizing on things to make life easier. Now, I will tell you, there's sales that come out all over the place. Okay. Oh, buy 2 of these, and and you buy 2, get 1 free, and 1 free. Yeah, LA. Just a thought. Okay. You've got a China cabinet. Now, what you do, quite literally, is you take that right there. You take your pad, count the number of shelves in your China cabinet. Okay. And the bookshelf. You literally, like, for instance, if we take a look there, and go over there. If we take a look here, I've got a bookshelf here that, including the top, has 6 bookshelves. Okay, so when you're looking at your China cabinet, list off the number of shelves it's got. Okay, and don't forget, with a China cabinet, it usually has a shelf in front of it as well. Okay, break it and break the chore down into smaller tasks. So you're not going, I got to organize the China cabinet. You're going, I got to organize the top shelf in the cupboard of the China cabinet. Okay. And you do that all the way down. The reason for it is because the China cabinet on its own may well be a 2 or 3 hour job. If you break it down into smaller sections, and I cover this, by the way, this whole method of breaking things down is covered directly in Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay? Because here's the thing. Let's say it's going to take you, you figure, an hour and a half, an hour, maybe let's say 2 hours to go through the china cabinet completely. But you break it down, let's say it's got 6 shelves. You break it down. Okay? If it's got 6 shelves, this means 20 minutes to a shelf, and you can clear that bookshelf off. If you get called away and you've only got 1 shelf cleared, all of a sudden you can look at it and go, well, I got that done. Okay, by getting that job done, now you've only got to make room for 150 minutes of work, or for 110 minutes of work. Okay, and that way you can feel like you got something done that day. Okay, for me, this method has worked like a charm forever and a day. Although it did take me until I got into my mid-40s before it ever clued in on me how to do it. Now I just have to dig my heels in. Okay, now, one of the important factors that I do look at is, let me ask you this. Okay, and this is referring to the newsletter. The newsletter is free. No, I tried that in LA, and all that did was create absolute chaos. That's the biggest problem from my end. But what I do have a question for you for, and this is to all of you. Okay, what is Positive Perspectives missing that will make it a more enjoyable read? Something that will draw your attention to it a little bit more readily. Because, the fact of the matter is, I know it requires some entertainment stuff. Okay, jokes I'm not good at. I know I look in the mirror and I just about die laughing. It's a frightening thought. Yeah, I do agree with you there, LA. The neat trick there is making sure I take pictures that are definitively mine and not of somebody else. Because the reality of it is that I've got to do something to brighten the thing up. I realize this. Right now, it's pretty boring. It's got to be broken up, and the fact I don't have to worry about the time frame or the page length anymore makes it so much easier in a lot of ways. I also know for an absolute certainty that some of what I'm going to be doing is adding in little referrals for people and ways to get people thinking about the things that are happening that are good. It's amazing. I hear of any number of bigwig specialists, CEOs, politicians, and everybody goes, this person did that wrong. The problem there is, I'm not debating that bad things happen, but I will tell you that the bad things are not the only thing that happens. And that's where we run into the big problem. I don't like that feeling. When one focuses on only the negative, we have a massive complication. Okay, because that massive complication, when all you're feeding your brain is depressing garbage, you're going to be depressed. Absolutely. And you're talking presumably, LA, we're talking about just small little tidbits, not great big articles, just here's a thought process, put it to use. Okay, because I do agree. Right now, you open the book, you open up any magazine, and it's like, well, this is depressing news. I ended up picking up. Let's see if I've got it right here. Yeah, this neat little sheet here, okay, has a bunch of little sayings, of little, not parables. We'll go with little sayings. Inspirations, that's why I was referring, what I was thinking. Okay. Saying that I am planning on inserting in the next several, over the next several months. Okay. And these may well have you may well have heard them before out of movies when you're talking to somebody, okay? And that being, like, a buddy of mine made a call, where I heard it from first was a friend of mine. He turns around and he goes, "To know oneself is to know all." And really, when you think about it, if you know what makes you happy, okay, if you know what you appreciate being treated like, then you can extrapolate and very effectively realize that most people like the same thing. Okay, these are just little spaces I'll be putting in, so it's not just a solid chunk of writing. You want a solid chunk of writing, that's done through this. Okay, this one, when you're looking at a novel, it has writing all through it, but we got to break it up a little. This much I've figured out. And again, one thing I will be doing with that is, especially once people start turning around and going, "Let's make things happen," I'm going to be turning around and putting that sort of thing in positive perspectives and linking it to positive perceptions. Everything is connected now. Both of these streams are live. Both of them are tied to the way I deal with life myself. Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. Okay. Well, not a problem there, Joe. The neat part about things, when we're looking at the way this world is changing, the one constant in the universe is change. Okay. And what we have to realize is, if we stay sitting the way we are, if we leave the path and leave the path running as is, it's going to come out the same way. You know, when I was living as a hub controller, okay, in the Xerxes world, in my Xerxes life, frankly, I found one thing. Everything they did was always repeating the same way. The outcome, needless to say, stayed the same. Humans have the same problem. This is evidenced by the fact that an autobiography I just finished reading literally shows you that back in the early 1900s, what was going on then is going on exactly the same way now. Now, you'd think that somebody would have learned. Apparently not. You know, so what I'm looking at, don't know how that's going to work. I am starting to look at the world and go, it's time to get moved around a little. Any way I want to look at it. Where are we? Didn't like that. Okay. The nice part about it, now I'm reclusive, and I figure I've got to step out of the shadows into the spotlight and go, okay, let's start making a difference. And this is why, yes, I will be in Reno. Okay, I will be down in Texas later this year. I will be down in Reno or in Utah later this year. And I keep forgetting whether or not I'm going to South Carolina or North Carolina. What are we going on here? I don't know. Anyway, I'll be going down into the Carolinas anyway. Okay. Not bad for somebody that gets lost when traveling. So we'll see how that all turns out. But this said, I will also tell you, if anybody ends up in Kelowna, which is where I live, up in Canada, if anybody ends up here, yes, I do meet with people and get together for coffee. Absolutely, I do. Yeah, it seems to be Wallet Mouth. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Sorry, that's Wallet Mouth. Yeah, this year has proven to be extremely busy, to the tune of 7 books in print that I've written, an extra one in print already, another, I think, wonder how many I've got realistically. Take that, we draw, whoop, drop that there. We have 10 of those. We've got another 9 there. We've got Portal. I'm just doing a real quick count on the number of books I'm actively adding information to. Ten, 19, 20, 21, 19, 20. So I got 23 right off the bat. And I'm pretty certain I've got a few others I'm actively working on. But apparently, did you realize that if you're writing 20 books at a time, at the same time, apparently this is not called relaxation, nor is it called retirement. Oh, fantastic, Walmoff. Absolutely fantastic. It's this kind of success that I look forward to seeing from people. Okay, because it does show that you can take your life from the position it's in and deposit it in a new path if you plan it properly. Now, remember, people don't plan to fail, people fail to plan. And this is one of the big things I'm looking at right now. Now, if I move that out of the way, pick these books up here. So there's a lot that we can do. Okay. It's just a question of what you're willing to do. Are you actually willing to put your negative? Thank you so much, Wallamoth. I really appreciate that. The question is, are you willing to put your effort into changing your life? Now, I can tell you all the tools that I know of, but the reality is you don't get up and pick up the pieces. If you don't get up and pick up the tools, your life isn't going to change. Okay. The reality of it is it's time to make the changes. Now, that's my calendar. Oh, I don't even worry about that yet. The nice part there, Wallamoth, is when we're looking at that, as LA has just stated, open topic, ask any question, any field, doesn't matter, except we do not tangle head on with mainstream religion, nor do we tangle with politics or any of this issue of what do you think about this scandal that's being talked about. We don't do that here. There's lots of places to deal with it. Okay. No, I'd love to say they do. But, I sat for years going, gee, this clutter's got to go. It really does. Well, unfortunately, that ain't the way it worked. The clutter, for some weird reason, stayed right where it was. Now, if I look over here, here's my box. Okay, if I look at this, these are all pencils. I don't have any shortage of pencils. Pens, mechanical pencils, felt pencils. That's tape. See, these are just little tools. And now it boils down to this. You know, the neat part about it is once you get started, probably, well, that's 5, so 7 feet desk here, 5 feet there, a top shelf here. So what I do is I go, okay, this 7 feet is 2 distinct sections. So I list those off. Oh yeah, I did wall it off. You know, I've been clearing things out of the way, and more of it is going. You know, I should have sometime this week another picture to put here. Okay, the tail end of this, the one from Return to Paradise, should go this week because I'm getting very close to finishing the novel off. Okay, I'll be able to sail through Races of the Worlds, the second printing. I've got everything in place now. I've even got a bunch of new races, and as a matter of fact, I wonder if that's up. Is that... No, that's the color. Oh, that is so. Okay, let's scroll up there. That's Race of the Worlds. Where is... Oh, I apparently don't have that one in this particular book. What's that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 15, 18, 19. Yeah, that's got 20. Okay. Yeah, by the way, the coloring book I'm just having to resize. That coloring book has 20 pictures directly out of Races of the Worlds. Okay. So it'll be coming out pretty quick as well. You know, the nice part about it is if we put our heads together and we start working around, okay, you know, we start working with each other, we can start making this happen. Now, I will tell you, and this I meant to cover this before. I keep telling people I don't do research. Here's why. Okay, if you research, and I applaud the people that do the research. The reason I don't is because what I found is if you research without knowing how to dig around, okay, which is my problem, what I'm going to find is that the research that is printed, okay, that is already out there, is a whole pile of people restating the same thing. Now, that's not a bad setup if the thing is accurate. Okay, you know, if the research is being done accurately. Okay, but if it's misinformation in the first place, and many people are just simply restating it, it's not going to make it any more accurate. So I look at what I've gone through and the people I've run into and go, there's my research right there. It doesn't always agree with other people. Okay, it really doesn't. But what it does do is it gives a very clear picture of what I personally am dealing with. Okay, like for instance, this neat little tool here. Okay, this neat little tool here, yes, this one works. When I look at it, okay, I don't see as you can tell, there's reflections all over the place. This one I've been using since 1986. So I picked it up in late 86, early 87. Okay. This, when I work with it, to my eyes, turns absolutely black. It turns absolutely black. I've only run into, in my entire life, 9 people that this will work for. And I don't mean this specific crystal ball. I mean any crystal ball. Okay. Some people will attune to multiple. Most work with one specific. Yeah, Joe, that is a real crystal ball. Imported, if I recall correctly. I know it came from a company called the European Import Company. Okay. This one I took to the airport and absolutely fried the computer system with it, quite by accident. But I've used this particular ball to sink an artesian well over in Newfoundland, which, by the way, is on the other coast. Like, I'm on the west coast. For those of you that don't know, Newfoundland is on the east coast of Canada. Okay, but that one, oh, when it fried the entire custom system. It was absolutely funny. It was funny in my eyes. They weren't mad per se, as in I didn't get charged. But boy, did it cause chaos. But when because the guy looked at me and he goes, "What's in your bag?" And I'm looking through my bag and I'm going, got my laptop, got my razor, got my cell phone, my calculator. I says, there shouldn't be anything in there. He goes, it's round. I said, oh, that's got to be my crystal ball. He goes, your what? I said, my crystal ball. I said, I'll pull it out slowly and show you what I'm talking about. So I pulled it out of the bag. They agitated. They don't even have a sense of humor when they aren't agitated. But I pulled it out and I showed it to the guy, and he looked at me and he goes, "That's real." I said, "Well, I could have told you it was real, right?" I said, "But why are you so agitated?" So he turns the monitor around. I had fried 3/4 of his monitor and seized both the custom lines here in Kelowna. Okay, but like both I'm gonna call it customs. I don't know if it's customs. When you're coming in from another country, both of their check-in lines were frozen. But you're right, he was absolutely livid about it. Of course, when I went to come back through, he remembered me. And he looked at me and goes, "You, over there." So I went over and we did the bypass, right? Did the bypass so my crystal didn't go through their machine again. And they were quite happy about it. Right. Of course, the guy did ask me, he says, "Does that thing actually work? Do you use that while you're on the plane?" I said, "Given the problems we had down here, would that be wise?" I said, "I don't know about you, but I'm quite content taking my time to come down with the plane. This idea of having the plane crash doesn't really sit well with me. So in answer to your question, I doubt very much I'm going to bring that thing with me. It's a toss-up whether I will. When I come down to Texas, I certainly won't be bringing it to Reno. And I don't travel very much with it anymore because it causes too many complications. What do we got here? Wallet's gone. Yeah, that could have been a bit of a problem there, Wallet. I'm thinking, from my standpoint, I can see why you say that'd be a little bit embarrassing. But, I've got stuff I'll be taking down with me. These trips into the... No, they're not tactful at all, Ellie. They really aren't. One of the first trips I ran into, when I went through customs the first time, I went in and I was wearing my boots. And the customs chat, the agent goes, "Do those have steel toes?" I said, "Nope, absolutely not." Right. So he goes, "Okay, well, come on through." So I went through with him. It set the alarm off. So he goes, "I thought you said they weren't steel toed." I said, "They're not." Right. So he asked me to go back through, but take my boots off. So he put the boots through the scanner. Boots came up with nothing. I walked through, thing didn't set off. So he asked me, he says, "I hate to do this, but can I get you to put your boots back on and come back through one more time?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." So I put my boots back on, went back through the sensor, set it off again. And he goes, "What is this?" I said, "This is me in computers." He goes, "But that's not possible." I said, "You figure it out." World, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Where are we here? Find that little link. And we go, world. There we are. This is the link to World's live stream. Hopefully I did that right. Yep, we did. Now, that's World's live stream. It comes on, well, we are currently at, where are we here? Sure, I can't see a thing. Oh, there we are. We are currently coming on 6. World Bigfoot Radio is on at 8 p.m. Central, meaning in about 10 minutes. There we go. So, absolutely, guys, if you get the chance, drop in, say hi, listen to what World's got to say. I'll tell you, some of his footage is phenomenal. Okay? And turn around. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. And then share the daylights out of the thing. We've got this neat little situation where our world is changing way faster than you might be aware of. The question is, are we going to make a change for the better, or are we going to stay on the same path? And rest assured, that ain't changing for the better. Oh, nice there, world. I mean, and I'm quite readily willing to tell people, World's video footage is phenomenal. Okay, the fact of the matter is, it's hard to get quality work the first time. Wallet, I finish at 6:30 PST, so where are we? We're just about 6. So I finish in about half an hour here. Okay, so it'd be just over 30 minutes that I wrap things up. Which is why I never make it to the show right at the 6 o'clock mark. And unfortunately, if my energy starts to tank, I don't make it very far anyway. DB, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, undoubtedly. Well, the good news there, world, is I kind of figured there was a problem there. The good news is you've got it on the stream. I can catch it afterwards. Fortunately in this case I shouldn't have too much trouble finding it, I hope. Sometimes I run into problems, as you well know. But I will absolutely recommend people drop in and listen to it. Now where are we here? Yeah, we are at 121. Yeah. So we've got a little bit to go, but the thing I'm looking at is this. If you're not happy with your world, it's time to start making changes. Okay? This is why I'm striving to put things together. I do appreciate that, baby. I really do appreciate that. I am on usually Friday through Wednesday from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Thursdays I don't play it. I don't stream at all. Take care, world. Thanks so much for dropping in and sharing your time with us. Best of luck with your stream. I really do wish it for you. And no, I appreciate that, Wallet. The reality is some people will want to catch that stream from World. And let's face it, for me, it's a simple issue of I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. I do what I do with a lot of encouragement and a lot of support from a lot of people. Okay. So this is going to continue unless I drop dead, which may put a kink in things. Okay. I know my other half keeps telling me I'm not allowed to die yet. Right. But that's okay. God keeps saying God doesn't want me and Satan's afraid I'll take over it, so I keep getting thrown back anyway. The nice part about it is when you get your mindset on the changes you desire to see take place, things can happen in a very positive fashion. Those I've got to read. Get that out of my way. As you can tell, I've taken to the idea that sitting down permanently doesn't work that well. It really doesn't work that well. What happens is I run into snags with energy levels or with temperature wise. Any number of things can cause a problem. It's funny, SOR. Now, the reality is I was on Hazy Radio way, way, way back before SOR. I don't think SOR was even alive when Hazy was out. Okay. But I also used to have a run on KGRA. That went sour in a real hurry because of one comment I made. Okay, and this is why I don't do it anymore. There are guests that show up on people's shows that I absolutely do not agree with. Okay, but I did learn that calling them out by name was a disaster. Okay, unfortunately, tact is not my strong suit. I appreciate that, LA. KGRA, I made the mistake. There was a client on there. There was a guest on there that did not on the show, but in a live stream themselves, made a comment that I called them on. And to say I was not subtle is an extreme understatement. Okay. And no, I'm not going to tell you who that guest was. I will tell you that they were a well-known individual. The pair of them were. And what they were talking about. I literally wrote back in the comments and said, I am so fed up with so-called professionals fear-mongering and profiteering that it just doesn't work for me. Now, what I mean by profiteering is this. Okay, if I pull this book out here and I go, this will explain to you the time. This is believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Okay, if I pull this out and tell you this has the key to turning your life around, you have one of two choices at that point. Ask me about anything you choose. If it's contained in this book, I will tell you. In here, it lays out how to set a plan in motion to clear a big project off the deck. Now, that's what it does, and I'll tell you exactly how to do it. You break it down into 15-minute to half-hour tasks. I will also tell you in this book, it is black and white. So if you desire to get the book, the link is at the top of the page here. Buy me a coffee, and you can pick it up there, or you can simply listen to this stream again, and I'll tell you. I will tell you this. If you've got a project, just for instance, and this is the example I use in here. Let's say you're trying to clean your living room, and let's just assume it's a complicated mess. So you desire to clean it top to bottom, clutter, vacuum, dusting, all of it. Break it down into 10 to 15 minutes to half-hour jobs, because assuming that it's going to take you 2 hours to fix the room, if you get into it and you don't get done, what happens is you'll look at it and go, first of all, you don't feel like you got anything done. Then you're going to look at it and go, now I've got to find another 2-hour block to clear something out of the way. You'll get the job done. Okay? With that in mind, if you break it down into smaller jobs, like clean the living room floor, clear the junk off the living room floor, clear the coffee table, clear the furniture. Okay? When you do that, you take care of these little jobs, you check them off as they're done. If you get called away, let's say you only get 3 of the jobs done. You get called away for whatever reason, and those 3 jobs don't have to be done. So instead of 2 hours, you only have, you've only got an hour and 15 minutes left that you got to find the room for. This is how it works. It is detailed, like I said, in here. Absolutely. But I'm not about to tell you, oh, you want the secret? Buy this. I'll tell you, it explains it there. No. If I'm going to tell you I've got the answer or got the tool, if you desire the tool, ask. Absolutely. Yeah. Joe goes, Dave Scott on SOR has his paranormal stories. He tells them he makes you want to lock your own door at night before bed. But they are great stories. Now, that said, since you brought him up, here we go. This is the Dave Scott Spaced Out Radio. Okay. And so drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylight thing. Hopefully, now, Wallamuth, are you by any chance are you actually in the States, or whereabouts are you? Because I seem to remember you being over in England somewhere. But that's just curiosity part on my end. I look at it this way. When I travel, you are in the UK, so the odds of you being in Reno, not good. Okay. The neat part about it from my end is this. I gave up traveling. Well, I quit traveling, what would it be? 2007, I quit traveling. No, 2009, I quit traveling. And then we had lockdown in 19. So it's been a long time since I've traveled. Actually, I don't recall. I know I was down in LA there a while ago, or down in Texas, And of course, I was at the Skagit County UFO the conference there. I had a friend over in England. He'd come over to the Experience to Speak conference over in Missouri. I don't know, over on the West Coast now, right near New York. I don't know if that was Michigan or Missouri, but it was back east anyway. And he would come over every year, but it's a long trip. In my case, I'm going to be traveling this year more than I've traveled in the last 10 combined. But I'm going to very specific locations at this point. The nice part about it is I've got an idea in my head of what I'm aiming for. That's up front. So again, what I'm aiming to do is take the newsletter and positive perspectives, positive perceptions, and the printing company, and start making this stuff available to everybody. I do agree with you, by the way, LA, about just little odds and ends, just small bits of information to get people thinking on what they can do to change their life. Because it does not change if we don't get off our tail feathers. In simplest terms, it cannot change if we don't get off our tail feathers. Whoa. Wallet, I presume that question is for me regarding the camper. Got to be clear. I have never owned a camper. Okay. And no, I don't drive anywhere very far. When I go to Reno, I'm flying. Okay. I get lost way too easy to gamble on that one. The closest thing to owning a camper I ever had was at one point I owned a little Matchbox camper. But that's the closest I've ever come. See, the thing is, in my entire life, I have never drawn a trailer after me in any capacity. Well, that's not entirely true. I drug one behind me on, by hand, but never have I actually driven one. And a motorhome, I'm not about to buy. Okay, you just don't do things like that if you're not comfortable. And I get lost way too fast. To be clear, I'm at a point now in my life where I'm literally looking at the world going, if I have to do any sort of a medical or eye exam or anything, beyond the normal, in order to keep my license, in 3 years when my license comes due, I may not be bothering to renew it. I may just simply, because I'm building my life a lot more stably in my own home. Okay, where I don't have to travel. I don't even have to leave the house to shop anymore. Okay, now for me, this is a bonus. For society, if you're not out interacting with people, you're losing something very, very, very important. Okay, this is one of those things where we have to look at the world and go, we've lost the art of communication. It has gone the way of the dodo bird, in case you hadn't noticed. And that, to say the least, is a bit of a problem. I'm fully expecting, because where Reno comes in, I'm going to be in Reno on the evening of the 8th. But the 8th is a write-off. I've got one person I got to reconnect with. Okay. And just confirm that we've still got a ride. But if we don't have a ride, there are shuttles that run from the airport to the hotel. But the 8th is a write-off. I won't be talking to anybody to speak of except my other half. Okay? Because of the fact it's her birthday that day. Okay? We're spending it together. Oh, yeah, LA, I agree with you. LA goes, I equate camping out with room service. Nearest thing to roughing it I want. No doubt there. But no, the 8th, I won't be dealing with anybody. The 9th, I will sit down and try and have coffee with whoever's available. The party itself doesn't start until the 10th. 10th, 11th, and 12th are revolving around the SOR party. On the 13th, which is my birthday, that's relegated with to be spent with her half. Okay. And then the 14th, I fly out. So realistically, I'm down there 6 days. 4 of them, I am open to sitting down and talking to people. 2 of them, I'm isolating myself. I am literally putting priorities where I desire them to be, which works out well from my end. But and again, if anybody, if people have asked me on occasion, are you willing to talk at events? The answer is absolutely yes. Okay. All that's required is for somebody to reach out and ask. I have no idea. Who's going, Keith, do you have a smudge on your camera? I have no idea what a smudge is, or are you just talking that smudge thing as far as the camera being a little bit cloudy? If it's a technical thing, I have no clue. If it's an optical block, the connection is never the best. Oh yeah, okay. No, that's just simply the connection there, Wallet. Sorry, thank you so much for that, Wallet. You're absolutely right. But no, the connection is absolutely a problem. And when my brother's estate comes in, one of the big things I'm doing is replacing this whole computer system with a state-of-the-art plus a booster. Technically possible. Okay. Some days I get good reception, some days I don't. But that's why the crystal's way over on the outside of the room again. It's definitively possible, but this is why I say when the estate comes in, I will be going after a state-of-the-art replacement. No, well, that's just it. It is, given that this room is 12 feet wide, 14, sorry, that puts the crystal ball about 8 feet away, which may be an issue. I never even thought of it, in all fairness. Wally, I probably need a lot of things. And again, I can't do anything until my brother's estate comes in. Or 6 months down the road once I've put the money aside. Now that I've actually got a stable income, I can start looking at that sort of thing. Today is that. Okay. No, it sits way over on the other side of the room. Primarily for that reason. The neat part about where it comes to technology is I came to the understanding that it's going to argue with me until the cows come home. Okay. And, mind you, I had my cell phone up front within 5 feet of a friend of mine, and the cell phone wouldn't pick up my touch because he drains the poor thing, creates a block himself. One of the biggest things that we have to look at is I know for an absolute certainty that I've got to start getting on the different streams, or just simply focusing on it. Oh, Wallet. Here's the thing. Okay, and I'm just going to use this. Now, this is a state-of-the-art calculator. This is way back with solar powered. Okay. The neat thing there, if you picture this as being a POS, a point of sale terminal. I ordered pizza one day, and the guy brought out one of these. And I knew my energy was off, so I says, "Okay, look, you don't want that in my hand. You're going to have to punch the numbers in." Well, the guy says, "No, I'm not allowed to." He says, "You've got to do it." I looked at him, I says, "Do you have a spare cop and a spare one of these machines?" He goes, "Yeah, why?" I says, "Because you put that in my hand, you're going to have to go get a replacement." Well, he looked at me and goes, "That's impossible." I says, "I know." So he goes and takes the POS, puts it in my hand, and it goes bang. And all of a sudden, the smoke comes out of the top of it. And the guy looks at me and goes, "What is that?" I said, "That's your indication to go get the other machine." So he goes out, gets the other machine, comes back. POS means point of sale. Okay. So the guy comes back with the machine. And he goes to put it in my hand again. I looked at him and I said, "Are you serious?" So he stops and he at that point pushed the numbers in. Right. And everything worked fine. He looks at me and he goes, "That is impossible." I says, "In case you hadn't noticed, it happened. Therefore, it's possible." Oh, very much, Joe. I go to one restaurant. Okay, I go to a mall, essentially. Well, two malls. I go to the Wings restaurant here in town. There's a pet store right next to it that I go to. The grocery store is in the same mall, and across the highway is the gaming shop that I go to, and the butcher. So, I've got a very limited amount of room that I travel. As evidenced by the fact that in the last 2 years, I put, I think, 3,500 kilometers, or about 3,000 miles. And this is why I don't travel a whole lot. But now what I'm doing is going, okay, let's get the information out there. Let's get just a little short blurbs, refer people to where you can get more of it. And absolutely, if we work together, okay, we can bring this message out to everybody out there. There are billions of people that are listening to people telling them we're going to die, which is right, by the way, we all are. We're going to have shortages. There's war all over the world. There's famine all over the world. I'm telling you, there is bounty all over the world. There are nice people all over the world. And there are a staggering number of people trying to treat each other properly. But we don't talk about that. What gets broadcast is who's ripping who off, who's at war with who's trying to kill who. How about we stop it? Every time, and I do this myself, whenever I come across something that is negative, I literally strongly recommend, if you read something, post something, repost something that's negative, or listen to it, go and find 2 things that are of a positive input. If you read about a death, read about a celebration, a birth. If you read about a robbery, read about a charity. Okay. And with that in mind, with the whole idea of charity in mind, I am putting things together to make that happen. But like I said, for me, it boils down to this. I require my share of running my household, of running my business, running my, utilities, expenses, rent. Ow. My share is $500. So after I hit the $500, I take 10% of whatever comes in after the first 500, and it goes into charity, which means I will take that, and bear in mind, 10% of 500 is $50. So if I make, once I get the 500, that gets written off. If I make $1,000, that means I've got 500 surplus. Okay, I'll take 50 of that and buy somebody else groceries or somebody else a meal, right? Or I'll help somebody else pay off a debt. Okay. In time, the unfortunate part where it comes to the video here, I don't know what to do with it. All I can do is replace the system. Okay. DB. Oh, we always have technical difficulties. You would be amazed how many times I fry this poor thing. Okay. And when I do it well. Oh, Joe goes, just the other day, I was sitting in my car in the parking lot coffee shop waiting for my mom to come out. And a woman walked by me and just smiled unconditionally at me as she walked by. See, Joe, we knew you'd draw people's attention in a positive fashion. This is why I say, don't lock yourself away. Yes, I understand that you'd like things to change a little bit more readily. I swear I'm French there, Wallet. Actually, I'm Scottish, but that's beside the point. But one day I figure out how to work with sign language again. I'm not good at it. Okay, I took a course in it years ago, but never used it. And the reality is, if I ever manage to dig up the time to go and learn it again, I undoubtedly will see what I can do. But for the moment, that's one of those things. It's an idea. It's a language that will enhance my own intellect. And I'm telling you, the more that you use your brain, the stronger your brain gets. One thing they did discover, and they being the scientists, is if you are learning a new language, it slows down the idea of Alzheimer's or mental degradation on many levels because you're still working the muscle. This is one of the reasons why I've taken to reading 3 books at the same time. I gotta check. Yeah. No, I understand that, Wallermouth, and thank you so much. Really appreciate you dropping in and sharing your time with me. Very much appreciated. Do have yourself a great night. And we will catch you on the next one. Hopefully. We are winding down here. We're down into the last 10 minutes. And again, because the free newsletter, if you go to the top of the stream, there is a link to the Buy Me a Coffee link. The newsletter itself is free. Okay, it's accessed through that link, but you don't have to pay for it. But you do kind of have to make sure that I get an address to send it to. Okay, right now I'm just curious. We have 5258. Right now, we've got a mind-boggling subscription level of 58 people. Mind-boggling. I intend to get it up into the thousands in time. Right now, not going to happen in the thousands. But I am working on it. I'll bet that made your evening there, Joe. The fact of the matter is, and this is why I say, let's start a pandemic. But the pandemic I'd like to see started is smile. Smile at each other. Be nice to each other. I know I said that a long time ago in another lifetime, many, many years ago. I told people, be nice to each other. That's all it takes. And yet, the spiritual guys of today, so many of them are saying, fear everybody, fear God, you're going to hell, you're all going to die, you're all going to suffer. Where's the rationality of this? If you focus on suffering, remember that karmic law, energy out, energy in. You focus on suffering, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to. Okay, I'm thinking it's time to focus on smiling. Focus on helping each other. Focus on giving each other a hand up. Now, I'm in the middle of playing. I've got a D&D game that I play on Sunday. I was playing today. And both of my buddy is, the other player is also a drow. Okay. And yet, as drow, we are building an empire. Okay. We had to do something a little weird, but what the heck? It really is, Wallet. The fact of the matter is that negative trap, the way to get out of it is every time you see something negative, okay, every time you experience something negative, go and catch yourself and experience two things that are positive. Doesn't even matter if they're the same two things over and over. Okay, what matters is that you enjoy life. Dying is easy. We're all going to do it. Living is the kicker. That's what we have to work on. Okay. And if we don't pay attention to that side of it, we're in serious trouble. Oh, there you go. See, this is the problem, Wallet. Sometimes the sound comes and goes. But here's the thing. I'm glad you stayed with us long enough to hear us. I have not figured out how to do it short. People keep telling me that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't have a proper recording system. The last one I had collapsed. And I'm still having trouble with that. Again, we are talking technology. It's a bit of a hiccup. So I mean, this is one of the biggest things we have to look at. Is technology, and I will argue until the day I drop dead, I'm sure of it. They ever offer to put a pacemaker in me because of my heart, I'll tell them they can keep the pacemaker. Because it's going to short out anyway. Absolutely, LA. LA's going, I hear negative, and I say to me, life is good, life is safe, and I am happy. Counteracts that in a hurry. Absolutely, it does. Okay. Usually, when I get insulted by somebody, or somebody says, you're being rude, I'm like, well, I'm trying to get better at it. I mean, the reality of it is, I don't let a lot get to me, except, and I really shouldn't let it get to me, I don't talk politics for a reason. Okay. Number one, it is counterproductive to peace and quiet. But, I've got to look at not exactly doing shorts, but shorts just I've never been able to record them properly. But coming on for only 15, 20 minutes, that I can probably pull off without a problem. The reality of it is there's a lot of magazines, news agencies, newspapers, radio shows, live broadcasts, podcasts. There are staggering numbers of options where you can go out, get depressed, get more disappointed in people, or quite frankly, you can come here. And there's many other sites like mine, I'm sure of it. I can't be the only one that is refusing to look at the negative side, or more to the point, refusing to dwell on it. Okay, but absolutely, if you're talking to somebody that says something to the effect of they're so tired of hearing all the negative, bring them in. We'll be happy to talk to them. Give them something a little bit more upbeat to look at. And rest assured, upbeat does not mean I'm going to sing for you. That's not going to happen. That's cruel. Okay, I figure I've done enough mistakes. Singing to make you guys feel better is not going to work well. That would probably be an idea there, Storm, because I have no idea how to do it. I know how to scramble my computer. I can do that one without a problem. But, they talk about these things about putting a short out. My computer won't do it. Okay. But pulling bits and pieces out of other videos, I know you can make a computer stand up and dance, even without legs. It's kind of a weird setup, but what the heck? I just make the thing roll over and die. But, guys, we are hitting the 2-hour mark here. So, I am going to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I will tell you, the support I get here is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, that worked out well. Just about wrote the entire wrong thing down here. So, thank you so much for dropping by, for sharing your time with me. I will be back again tomorrow, assuming I don't die. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.